Biker's Boot Camp. Hello to my fellow gamers. It is Chef Baker bringing you the first episode of Baker's Boot Camp. I'm going to show you the basics of movement, and with the basics you can combine all of them to develop your own playstyle. That's what I love about Gears of War. So right here I'm going to show you what lefty switch is, and right here lefty switch doesn't work because the cover's on my left side, so I switch to right hand advantage to shoot them around cover. It reduces your damage. It also keeps you hidden, and you can peek around the map without anyone seeing you. So right here I'm just shooting them up, and you can see I'm barely poking my body out. It's just the gun shooting around the corner. And when you use your Lancer, it's really useful to understand the left hand advantage and right hand advantage and how to do it. So I'm going to show you in a moment. So I'm shooting them up, keeping them at bay. You know, this is horde mode, but I'm talking multiplayer tips here, and you can use it pretty much anywhere. But anyways, you hit the cover, you aim, and then you walk backwards, and you hold the left trigger, because as soon as you let go of the left trigger, what's going to happen is you're going to switch back to the default, which is right hand advantage. The only way to switch to lefty is to do the trick I just showed you, or while you're in cover you can walk to your left and you'll automatically switch to your left hand advantage. So it's a really useful tip. See that guy? If that was an enemy online, he'd be getting hit up and he wouldn't understand why he's getting hit. Now with the left hand advantage here, I'm swinging my shots. I poke my gun around the corner, put a shot in, and go back to cover. You can do that with the right hand advantage, which is the default. Pretty easy. It's a really useful tactic. You barely get shot up. And one thing I want to show people, because I'm really getting tired of it on multiplayer, is you can mark people, and the mark lasts long. You can press the tac HUD, which is the LB, and you can see them through the walls. Now the next move I'm going to show you is the noob roll. It's just basically jumping to close the distance and then bodying them. So right here, jump to close the distance, body. If someone had a chainsaw or a Nasher, you could easily get bodied or chainsawed. But if you notice they're in the middle of a reload, or they mess up their gun in the jams, you can use the noob roll to body them, finish them off, get close. And then right here I'm using right hand advantage. I use the noob roll again to jump, and then I close the distance, and with my right hand advantage I shoot around the corner. Really useful understanding right hand advantage, and noob rolls is great for closing the distance or getting distance when you're hurt. So right here I use the roadie run. The next tactic I want to show you, it's a simple run, and then you just shoot them after you close the corner. I like to use it when people are in cover. And right here I'm just combining a bunch of the basics. So I roadie run, I use the standard strafe. Right here I'm hitting cover, and right here I just keep it real simple. You don't have to bounce and roadie strafe all over the place all the time. It'll mess up your shot sometimes, so it's better to just to keep it simple with the strafes. Now if you aim a little bit higher than usual, like when you look on the ground and you wall bounce, you'll actually level out your shot. So it's always better to aim just a little bit higher. And Gears of War 1 pretty much invented the slap shot, because back then you couldn't cancel sliding the cover. So this is like the Gears of War 1 style. You can still use it in Gears of War 4, obviously. You just have to let the slide complete and then pull off of cover. And if an enemy is hiding in cover, you use the slap shot real quick to just body them. And it also kind of throws people off, because they usually expect you to wall bounce and wait for you in the center line. Yeah, so right there I use the left side of my body to aim. Because as you bounce to your right, the camera, you can see it quickly switch to the left hand advantage. So if you slide to your right, you basically aim with your left side, and if you slide to your left, keep it aiming on your right side. Just a little quick tip. In Gears of War 2 they allowed you to cancel the slide, so you could actually combine your movement really nice. You can slide to one piece of cover and then slide to another piece of cover. So it really changed the game and made players way more creative. So like you can see, this is called like the super bounce or hyper bounce. I don't do it too well or too often, but it's a really useful tactic to throw people's shots off. But if they can still catch you, doesn't mean you're invincible just because you're doing that bounce. So yeah, just be careful when you use that that bounce, because they can still catch you in the middle of your movement. And then right here, just a nice little slide and pop shot, or not pop shot, but I pop a shot off right when I slide and get close. You want to slide to your left if you're going to do that, but it's really risky because when you slide to your left or move to your left, you're moving into their shotgun. So you have to time it just right where they just finished firing and you can close the distance fast enough to body them. Right here, nice little bounces around, keeps people crosses their eyes basically, and they can't really keep up with the shots and they just have to get lucky or they have to time you really good. So I always recommend wall bouncing. It keeps people's aim off. And this is left hand advantage plus wall bounce and then standard strafing. Like I said before, it's always good to keep it simple. You know, with a weapon like that, you want to, avoid the mulchers, you know, in horde mode, or if they're using a lancer trying to spray you down in multiplayer, use left hand advantage. So the cover system combat is really complicated. You can see me slide and lunge, and if there's an enemy in cover, just run up, turn and shoot them. That's one way. You gotta avoid their shots though, so be very careful. Right here I do a yank and shank, so pretty nice. But like I said right here in the text, it's always better to just shoot them right after you do the yank and shank, because in multiplayer, if you're in the middle of a animation like that, they can finish you off pretty quick. So I haven't yet countered it, but you can counter the mantle kicks and the yank and shanks. So this bot totally plays me right here and double jumps cover and comes back and hits me, but it's only on casual because I was trying to make this video for you guys. So yeah, he could have easily, in multiplayer, basically dead. So right here I used the blind fire. It's a really good tactic, especially if the guy in the background is using a lancer. So you just blind fire, you can still body them. It's not the most accurate, as you can tell, blind fire. And right here I see an enemy shooting from behind. I only knew that because the damage indicator was lighting up and the arrow was pointing back. So right here is a good example of a slap shot. It's so satisfying landing this shot in multiplayer. You just basically walk backwards and shoot after you line them up. And then this is the turn shot. You just turn the corner and shoot at the same time, and you aim up with the right stick. You aim up just a little bit so you can get an upper body shot. Yes, because if you don't aim up, you'll end up shooting their legs and they'll sponge it pretty hard. And sometimes it looks like you body them, but then you don't realize you shot the legs, so that's not a lethal shot. And right there is a nice little turn shot. You can turn cover and shoot directly straight, but if they're on the other side of cover like this, you can actually shoot them while they're on the edge of cover, so keep in mind. So you can use it left hand advantage right here and do the exact same thing. A lot of people, their left attack or their offense on their left side is really weak, and you can manipulate the battle, or manipulate your movement on the battlefield to make them always push your left or their left, I'm sorry, and then you can just, you know, take advantage of the fact that they don't know how to do turn shots or shoot very well with their left hand side. So right here, just a simple little clip I wanted to show you guys, yank and shank. So big common mistake is people, they don't press up when they shoot. Right there I messed up. Some more movement right here is the wall switch. In multiplayer, you can really screw with people, and especially if you cancel it by running forward. And right here, see the damage indicator behind me, so I just square up again. But anyways, I just wanted to show you this random tip. I'm not sure if anyone knows, but you can cancel the lunge as you slide to it. You can actually cancel it. When I discovered that in the beta, I was like, oh my goodness, I haven't seen anyone do it yet. So hopefully that's a new tip that you guys don't know about. And if you're new, probably is. But if you're advanced, hopefully you enjoyed that little bit of advice. So anyways, I'm going to be dropping a lot of these Baker boot camps. There'll just be a bunch of random tips. The next episode will be more advanced movement, where I show you how to wall bounce, roadie strafe, and just different combinations of the basic movements. But with this episode, you can basically take everything I've shown you and combine it to make your own play style. That's what I love about Gears of War, is how unique it is, and you can become a very different kind of player. Like, I remember a couple of people in the community have commented on my movement and said it's really funky and different. And same thing with Clutchin'. People love Clutchin's movement, and it's really cool because we basically started playing Gears of War at the same time and learning all these different tactics, and yet we've ended up with different completely play styles. So hopefully you enjoyed this commentary. Hopefully you enjoyed the tips and tricks. Please leave a like and comment. If you have any questions on Gears of War 4, I'd be more than glad to help you guys, because I want to make the community as good as it can be. You know, sometimes competition's really tough and it's frustrating, but at the same time, there's a lot of people that aren't that great, and if I'm a decent player and I'm still struggling, I can only imagine how the new players feel. So that's why I'm making this video, to show you guys how to body people, basic movement. So anyways, I put a lot of work into this video, so I'd really appreciate if you guys left a like or commented or subscribed, whatever you want to do. Anyways, take care, you guys. Peace out.